Home tab, and on my Home tab, I'm going to go to Open, and on the Open tab, I'm going to look for a document called Cupcakes or Delegate Activity 1 Cupcakes. Now, you will have access to these online, which gives you the opportunity just to play around with things. So I thought I would do the same thing. I would spend some time using one of the delegate activities and talking you through some of the changes that I might make with this particular document. So I'm just going to open that document now. So as you can see, it's a recipe I've taken from the internet, from the Great British Bake Off. And what I would like to do is be able to use my Home tab and introduce the Insert tab a bit as well, just to show you how you can utilize some of those things that we've just talked through. So up here, I've got a title. And with the title, what I'd like to be able to do is actually make that a little bit bigger, make it stand out a little bit more. Now, over here on the Home tab, on this ribbon, you've got some different styles. I quite like using this larger title because it means that I can actually kind of really make the title stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to click on that one. But as you can see, as I'm hovering over, it does change. So once you've highlighted the text here, and you do that just literally by clicking to the side, and it will highlight all of the text on that line for you. You can then hover over, and it'll actually give you a bit of an insight to what they look like. So I'm going to drop down and I'm going to use the big title option. And once I've clicked on it, it's now saved that title for me. And what I'm going to do, just because I'm a little bit funny, I'm just going to put a space in between the picture and the title as well. And because it is a title, I'm actually just going to give it, capitalize it in a couple of areas as well. So I've just deleted the O and the C. Now what I could also do if I wanted to, is I could actually centralize that as well. Now, to make it a little bit easier, so you can just left click and highlight it all. And it gives you the option to give like centralization to your alignments. You've got paragraphs and spacing. You've got all your different fonts elements here as well. So you've got real good quick accessibility to those things. So I want to centralize that piece of information. So I'm just going to centralize that now. I'm going to click on center. And as you can see now, that's moved all of my text over to the middle. So it means that everything's kind of centralized on the page. Now, what I've got here is an image. So now with an image, you can actually insert images quite nicely online. So I'm just going to delete that image and we're going to replace it with a new image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to introduce you to the Insert tab at the top here. Now on the Insert tab, sort of at a basic level, there are kind of a number of different things that you might like to use. The one that I'm going to show you right now is the one called Pictures. And if I just do the drop down here, you can see that you can select an image from the device. You can look for an image from a mobile device, if you've got your phone connected, or if you've got your kind of iPad or whatever it is connected to your PC, that allow you to go and search for those particular images. You've got stock images as well, which are things that come with Word, or you've got online images as well, online pictures. So that will allow you to kind of search the internet and find an image and that's right for you. In this instance, I'm going to use a stock image. So I'm just going to click on the stock image there, and it'll bring up a search parameter for us. Now, as you can see, it's bringing up an array of different images, which are kind of provided by Microsoft. And if I wanted to search something in particular, I'm going to type in cupcake. And you can see now it's giving me sort of images that are kind of relevant to my search as well. So I've typed in cupcake there, and I can see that some nice images of cupcakes here. I hope they're not making you feel too hungry. So I'm actually going to choose this image here. So I quite like the look of that one. And then I'm going to click on the Insert button, and that will now insert the image onto my document for me. Now that means that I've now kind of got the image there. It's been anchored to a particular place. Okay, and what I can do is I can actually look at how I'd like that image to lay out. Now, importantly, when you've inserted something into a document, you get an extra tab that appears at the top. So in this instance, I've got a picture format tab that has appeared at the top here. And you can see I've got quite a few different things that it's giving me the ability to do. So I can give my picture a frame, I can put my own border on it, I can position it. Around here, I've got the wrap text option as well, which is what this little icon next to the image is all about. Now, what this enables you to do, it enables you to either have the image so it's a standalone image, or you're going to have it so that the image has text which is around that particular image. So I'm going to show you a couple of different examples there. So if I were to make this image just slightly smaller, now it might be that I'd like to have all my text wrapped around my particular image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to use a couple of these options. So it gives you whether you want the text to go through the image, if you want the text to be tightly wrapped around the image, or if you just want the text to be completely separated from the image, so the image is in front of the text or the image is behind the text, or you've got an image which is kind of top and bottom, so the text will sit at the top or the bottom, it'll sit around the image in that instance. I quite like it when the text is wrapped around, and I like it to be wrapped around quite tight. So I'm going to click that particular option there, and as you can see already, my text is now already kind of moving around. So if I were to move my image around, even across the page if I wanted to, it'll actually kind of wrap the text around that particular image for me. So I'm going to pop my image back to the top and put it in line slightly. And as you can see now, I've got my text which is kind of wrapped around the image. And if I wanted to, I could actually make this image slightly bigger as well. So you've got the option to kind of stretch it or reduce the size, which is completely down to you. It's completely down to your preference. It's your document. It's up to you how you want that document to look. Now again, just because I know it's added in, it's taken away the extra space, I'm just going to add in an extra space there, just so there's a bit of a gap between my image and the title. And I'm actually just going to make it slightly smaller so that I've got a little bit of text around it. And I'm just going to put an extra space in there to bring everything into a line. And one top tip really on the home tab that you might like to see is this option up here. So this is your paragraph spacing. I like to call it the backwards P. Now, if I click on the backwards P here, you can see that brings up all of these kind of different spaces. And the idea behind this, it just gives you a bit of an idea of where your text is aligned in relation to your image. And I quite like it when I'm organizing posters or if I'm putting something together where I need to kind of work out where my text alignment is going to be, or or where my images are going to sit. I just quite like having that because it gives me an idea of where all those spacing is laid out. So that's how you'd insert an image, and that's how you kind of could use some of those spacing elements together. So if we were to carry on, I'm just going to pop back to my home tab, which I'm on the top, and I'm just going to give a few bullet points. So I've got my title there, so we know who's created it and where it's come from. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add some bullet points. So I've got some paragraph elements up here, and I'm just going to add some ticks because I quite like ticks. So I'm going to add some ticked bullet point options there. Obviously, the arrows are there because I've still got my spaces on. If I were to turn my spaces off, it would actually take those ticks away. But what I can see is that some of my text is overlapping slightly. So I'll come back to that a little bit later and have a play around with that. Now down here as well, I've got the ingredients. I've got exactly what I need on the first page. And on the second page over here, I've got the method, and it says how-to videos, but I'm not going to add any videos into my document at this stage. But I do want the method there, just so we can see what we need to do and what stages we need to follow with the ingredients. Now, with the ingredients, we're going to give it a slightly different header. So I'm going to give it heading 1 because I want that to stand out a little bit so people could see the ingredients quite straight away. And obviously with that, so I'm going to use heading 1 for that. And obviously there's 2 parts to this. I've got ingredients for the cupcakes, and a little bit lower down, it says for the white chocolate and orange buttercream. So I want those to stand out a little bit more, but I don't want them to stand out as much. So what I could do with that is I can actually use heading 2 for that. So it's slightly smaller, but it does help stand out a little bit more. And again, if I just highlight down here is, again, I've got heading 2 down there as well. So I've just highlighted that. And what I'm also going to do, just to make these elements stand out a little bit more, is I'm just going to bullet point those as well, so they're slightly indented. But instead of using ticks this time, I'm going to use some squares. Okay, so I'm going to pop the squares in there, and I'm also going to pop my squares in there as well. Now you can see, because I've started aligning and formatting the document a little bit more, you can see that the information from the second page has actually been brought up onto the first page. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to keep them separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a space after chocolate orange, and I'm just going to press return just to get rid of that extra bullet point because I don't really need the bullet point there. And that means it gives me that extra spacing that I need. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go up to my insert tab again, and I'm going to create a page break. Now, what a page break enables us to do, it enables us to separate the pages in a Word document, but without having lots of kind of returns after it. So it makes it nice and clean, and it means that anything can stay on that page. Everything will stay on that page, and it won't particularly move in this instance. So if I click on page break, you can see now that it's completely separated the two elements. So I've got my first page, which is focused on the nice picture and where the information's come from. I've got what we're creating with its ingredients and the buttercream ingredients as well. And on the second page over here, I've got the method. So how, what process we need to follow in order to make the cakes and the buttercream. So with the method element, again, I'm just going to flip back to my home tab. I'm going to click on heading 1, so I know that my two titles are exactly the same. And what I'm also going to do, as before, is I'm just going to make sure that these are bullet pointed as well. So I'm going to add some square bullet points on there. Now, because I've already used the bullet points, you can see at the top here, it's already saying, oh, you've used these recently. Would you like to use the same ones? So it would change them. So if I were to use the ticks, for example, or if I was to use the circles, they'll all be there, and they will put them into this kind of recently used bullet points at the top here. So I've accidentally added a bullet point there. So this is a good example where you can rectify things. So I just need to turn that off. I just click on it, and over here, actually, I don't want ticks. I actually want the square bullet points, so it's all the same, and it looks nice and consolidated. So there we have it. So what we've got now is we've got a document which is kind of formatted. We've got some nice images. We've inserted an image. We've added some bullet points. We've kind of added some extra formatting to make it stand out a little bit more. We've put a page break in as well. And then over here, we've got our method, and we've got all the information that is needed to follow. Now, if I just put my backward P's on again, or my paragraph spacing, you can see that you can see all of these elements here. You can see all the stuff that I've done. You can see that I've added the page break in, and you can see over here I've added the methods, and this little black dot here means that there's some kind of formatting on it. And there's also like the bullet points as well, with a slight spacing as well, which is automatically put in. Now, what I'm going to do is, just because I'm a bit pernickety and I don't want the word cupcakes on that lower line, I'm just going to make my image slightly smaller. So instead of playing around with the text, what I'm going to do is just going to make the image slightly smaller. So it means that all of the text is on one line. And if I go up to my backward P's now and turn all of that off, you can see I've got a kind of a nice consolidated document there. Now, another thing that you can do with insert is that we can have a page number at the bottom or the top, wherever I want it to be. And if I just scroll across on the insert tab and on the insert ribbon, you can say kind of towards the middle here, I've got a header and footer option, and I've got a page number option as well. So I'm just going to drop down, and then Word again is very intuitive. So it has the option for you to add them to the top of the page, to the bottom of the page, whether you want them in the margins, or wherever your cursor is at that particular time, which is what the current positions are about. I prefer just to have all of my page numbers at the bottom of the page. So if I just scroll down onto bottom of the page, just pop onto that icon there, you can see it gives me a couple of different formatting options. So you can either have just a plain one in the to the left, in the middle, or to the right. And likewise, you've got an accent bar as well. So you can have like a faint line with one page, or page one. And there are lots of different options. You can just literally scroll through. There's loads of different variations on the page number, and it means that you haven't got to kind of, fiddle around with things in that sense. They're already there for you. So I'm going to pick something. I'm just going to have a look at them all, see which one I quite like. I think quite like that one, actually. I'm going to use this ribbon option here. So this is where you kind of got that nice ribbon. I think it's quite fitting for the document. I'm going to pop that. I'm just going to click on it. And what that now will do is it will open up your footer, and it will add those page numbers into your footer for you. So you haven't got to do anything. You can see it's automatically pre-filled those for me as well with the 2 pages. So to get out of my footer, you've got a couple of things that you can do. You can either double click just back into the center of the document, or you can go up to this ribbon up here. So when you're accessing a page number, or you're updating your header or footer, you get an extra tab that appears just here called header and footer. And in order to get out of it, you just click on close, or you can double click in the middle of the document. So what will happen now is that your document is now editable again. But you can see down here, because that's part of my footer, it goes slightly fainted to show there's something in the footer, but in order to access it, you're going to need to double click back into it as well. So if I just double click back out again, you can see that takes me back into the document too. So there we are. There's some information about how to use some of the Home tab options. We've integrated some of the Insert tab options as well. What I'm going to do now is, just while we've got the document open, is I'm just going to talk you through some of the other insert options that you might want to use at this level. So if I just go up to my tab at the top and have a look at the Insert tab, there's a couple of different things that you might like to kind of know about here. So one of the things that I find really useful is cover pages. So if you're creating a big document and you want to make your big document look nice and tidy, a cover page allows you to insert a page before the text has happened. And it means that it's then excluded away from any of the page numbers as well. So for example, on this document, if I was to click on cover page, it will give me the option to pick a particular cover page for this document that I've got open on Cupcakes. I'm going to choose which one I feel would be appropriate. So I'm gonna have a go at this one here. Okay, and what that's now done is it's added a cover page at the start. Okay, and you can see here that it's got me some information to pre-fill as well. So it knows it's me, which is really great. It knows that I'm the document creator. And it also knows that I might want to put a date in, I might want to put a title in, might want to put a subtitle in. So in this instance, I'm going to just select a date. So obviously I can hit the drop down there, and today's the 11th of March. So I'm just going to pop the 11th of March in. I'm going to add my title. So my title is going to be chocolate. Not doing very well. Chocolate orange cupcakes. Okay. I don't really want a document subtitle, so I could actually just delete that. So again, you just highlight it and you can just hit the delete button or backspace, whatever's easier for you. And then down at the very bottom, obviously I'm not doing this for any particular company. I'm just doing it for myself, really. So I'm going to delete company out of that as well. But I might want to leave my name on there because I'm the person that's put it together. So as you can see, now all of my document is looking good. I've got my name at the bottom. I've got my title, and it means that the document as a whole is looking quite good. Now over here, you can obviously insert blank pages. That will just add a blank page into your document for you as and where you want it. But you can also add things like tables as well. So I'm just going to show you that quite quickly. So if you wanted to change this into a table, you can actually just highlight the text and actually click on table, and it will actually ask you how you would like to convert the text into a table. So if you click in convert text to table, what will happen is it'll ask you like what you're looking for, how many columns. There's only one column. How many rows you'd like. There's 9. There's probably 9 elements in this instance. Yep, there are. And it will automatically just do that for you. So you can click on OK, and that will automatically put those into a table for you. I don't particularly like that. It looks quite untidy. So in order to undo that, I'm just going to click the undo option. But if you wanted to maybe set a table in, which is like a blank table for your recipe, so that people could actually follow in particular stages that they're doing, then what we could do is that we can actually take away the bullet points here and add a number prefix. I'm just gone to my home tab and I've made the numbers there now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my insert tab and I'm going to put in a table which has 2 parts to it. So I'm going to add in sort of 9 different elements. So I've got 8 there. We'll have to add an extra one, and I've got a tick box there as well. So I'm just going to add that in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this slightly smaller. And I'm also going to just put an extra. I'm just going to go to my last cell on that table, and I've literally just used the tab button to add in an extra row. And what I'm going to do now is I can add in my number formats there because I want them to correspond to what we've got above for each stages. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it like a little tick box, really. So it means that as they're following each stage, they can actually kind of tick each stage as they're doing it. And I can put some text in there. What I'm going to do is, like with the little X button, you can actually move that around to wherever you want it to be. So this little cross here allows you to move the table around and add it wherever you want it to go. I'm gonna pop it right in the middle. I think just try and kind of put it there. And then what I'm going to do is like tick below after you have completed each stage of method. Okay, and it means that people can then actually just tick each stage as they're doing it. So I'm just going to highlight that because I want that to centralize as well. So I'm just going to use my alignment there, centralize that. And then if I wanted to, which I'm going to, I could make that slightly bigger as well. So I'm actually make that a heading 2 as well. And I'm going to just get rid of the full stop because I don't really need a full stop there. And again, I just need to centralize it because I've put a format on. So there we are. There we are. So that's good. So it means that as people are finishing each section or each method, they can tick it off, which would be quite nice as well. So that's, I mean, entering a table is very simple. It's literally just insert and then hit the table, and then you just select what you would like as well, in that sense. We've had a look at images. You can insert shapes as well, and different icons. So shapes are things like circles, squares. You've got text boxes. You've got like banners and shout out stars as well. So you could do that. So it might be quite fun for us to maybe add something on the front page here. We can add like maybe like a big kind of shout out star. So you click on it and you can just literally draw. And then again, what will happen is because I've added a new shape, you've got your shape format tools up the top there. I'm going to make it orange so it stands out, with a kind of black background. And then what if I can also do is I can actually right click on it and I can add text to it as well. So I'm going to add some text into it. So I'm going to put new recipe. I can't spell recipe, I don't think. So let's have a look. Oh no, it looks like I've spelled it. Okay. Oh no, I haven't. It's underlined. So you can see that the spell check is on, which is always good. So I'm just going to pop that there. I'm just going to make that slightly bigger as well. So again, I've got my little pop-up here, my little pop-up toolbar, and I can make that much bigger. So it kind of stands out to everybody, not too big, because obviously you want people to be able to read it. So we've got a new recipe there, which is standing out. So I've added that kind of striking kind of bold there. If I didn't want the black border, I can go up to my shape format again. And over here, I've got a shape outline, and I could maybe make that the same color as well. So it kind of stands out a little bit more. And again, you've got icons here, so you can insert particular icons as well. So if you wanted to add like a chef's hat, for example, we could have a search for that. So let's search for chefs. There we are. So we've got a chef hat there. So let's use that one there. That would be quite cool. And insert that in. I've replaced some text. So again, like any other image, you can look at how you want that to be aligned. In this instance, I want it to come in front of the text because it means I can put it where I'd like it to go. And it means that it doesn't then change the shape of my document either. It doesn't mean it's not going to move things around in my document. So what I might do is actually just pop that there so I can add that wherever I want it to be as well. And actually, I'm just thinking maybe I don't need the date anymore. Maybe I just need to just delete that because do I really need it? What's the relevance of the date there? So let me just click that and delete the date and take that away. So I've got this kind of nice document now that's coming together. So that's my insert tab there. So that's looking at icons. Again, you can have 3D models. You can add smart art as well. Smart art is great if you're looking at creating flow charts. So just show you what that looks like. So if you want a process chart, I don't really tend to use these too much in Word. I'd probably use these more in PowerPoint, but there is accessibility. So if you're putting a document together and you want people to see how to follow a particular process, and obviously these are quite good to be able to use those. And there's lots of different types of process flows you can follow there. So cycles and hierarchies. I'm not going to integrate that into this document. You can add graphs and charts as well. Again, so you can have a look at that for you quickly. So it's making sure that you've got a table of data and then actually utilizing that data to create a chart. And that's very similar to what it's like in Excel. So if you've seen some of the Excel videos where we've done graphs and charts, it works in pretty much the same way there. Okay. Right. I think for now, there's just a few other things to look at on the insert tab. So we can insert videos into a Word document. So if you've got an online video, so like a YouTube source, just bear with me for a second. So yeah, it's saying that you can use YouTube, SlideShare, Stream, which is a Microsoft product. Obviously you've got SharePoint as well, and you can also get them from OneDrive as well. Okay, so what I've got here, just on my tab here, is I've got how to make easy chocolate cupcakes. Not necessarily, I'm not going to use the same video from the same author. I'm just going to show you this as an example and delete it after. But if I wanted this video here, just open up that video. There we are. So you always get an advert, of course. So let's just skip the advert.
Welcome back to Scrumming.
I'm just going to pause that. And then what I can do is I can right click on the video and copy the video URL. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to close my browser down. Yeah. And then what I can do with my video is I could maybe insert a video here, maybe just so that well, actually it might be better on the method page. So if I just scroll down to my method page, and then if I maybe add some space into there, and then I could go to online videos and then insert that link that I've just copied. So I'm just going to right click and paste. Okay, what that will now do is it will go on and search the internet for that particular video with that particular a link, and it looks like it's found the video, which is great. So I'm just going to insert that. And what that will enable us to do now is to be able to insert the video into it. Now you can see what it's done. It's just literally pasted it on top of the text. So in this instance, this is where these little buttons become really useful, because actually we don't want it over the text. We want it to be tightly wrapped around the text. Or maybe actually we might want top and bottom. So I'm just going to click on top and bottom. And what that's now done is allowed us to add the method at the top, and then the rest of the instructions are at the bottom. So again, you can resize your video. So I'm going to make it slightly smaller because I only want my document over 2 pages. Okay, and again, I can centralize my video as well. So I can move that around if I want to, but it will just keep everything top to bottom. If I put my backwards P's on, you can see that I've got, you know, the kind of appropriate spacing that I need. And I've also got my elements down here, which is what we added earlier, the table. So brilliant. So what can happen now is I'll click on that. It will kind of show me a short preview of the video as well. So let's see how that works.
Welcome back to Scrummy. Today we're making my favorite chocolate orange cupcakes. Lovely double chocolate orange sponges, topped with chocolate orange buttercream, and
there we are. So that's how it can be input into a Word document. So back to the insert then. So that's looking at an online video. Obviously with that, if you didn't want the video, you could add a link as well. So you can actually add a link to that video. So you can see the link is there. It's the last thing that I used. You can add bookmarks. There's lots of different things here. A couple of other things. We talked a little bit about page numbers and headers and footers. Now, they work in exactly the same way. So a header and a footer. So headers at the top of the page of a Word document, and the footer is at the bottom of the page, and that's where our page number normally sits. It might be at some point you wanted to add a header to your document, and a header could be things like it could be your logo, it could be some information, it could be your address, for example. So your header is there in order for you to add that. And again, you can just click on header or footer, and if you open one, it will open them both anyway. So if I just pop on header, and we're just going to put a blank header in, you can see what will happen is it will just opens up the header and the footer, and you can type in information in. And again, you can format that however you want it to be. So if I wanted to go back to my home tab and I want that all to be on the right hand side, I can actually align it, or I can have it in the center, or I can have it on the left hand side. So it's just really up to you how you want that to look. I'm not going to put a header in this instance because I don't feel this document really wants it. So I'm just going to close my header and footer down. So you can see the extra tab has reappeared. I'm going to close that down. And just going back to the insert tab, I think we've probably covered everything we need to cover. There's 1 or 2 other things that we might want to have a look at. The first one is word art. So word art allows you to kind of put text in, but kind of text in a kind of in a nicer way. So you've got like shadowing, you've got kind of stuff that really stands out. So on my front page, what I might want to be able to do is, instead of having it so it's quite kind of bland, what I might want to do is actually, if I just delete that title and delete that text box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some word art in there, and I'm actually going to use this one here, quite like that. So you see it's now pre-filled that, and I've got a nice shadow underneath it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in my title. I'm just going to delete your text here. Okay, and you can see now it's giving me kind of quite a nice title. And again, you can format that. I'm just going to make it so it looks a little bit more, a little bit better. So I've got that. And once I've put my word art in, I'm not quite happy with how it looks. You've got these word art styles up here. So you can actually drop down and you can and kind of go over them a little bit just to see which one works best for you.